Have you ever wondered why your name was chosen? What if it wasn't random at all, but instead carried a divine purpose crafted just for you? From the first time it's spoken over you, your name becomes a part of who you are, a thread in your life's tapestry. But the Bible teaches us that names are far more than just labels. They're often prophetic, shaping the paths of those who bear them. So, what does your name really mean in the eyes of God? You might be surprised to learn that it could reveal parts of your purpose, your character, or even your destiny. This journey into the biblical significance of names is an eye-opener. It goes beyond personality quizzes or generic interpretations. It's about tapping into a timeless tradition where names are linked to life's mission. Imagine the power of realizing that your name could hold the key to understanding God's unique plan for you. Intrigued? Ready to explore how something as simple as your name might connect you to something far greater? Let's dive in and uncover the spiritual depth and purpose that could be hidden in your very own name. From the moment you receive your name, it carries a weight that goes beyond sound or letters. Each name resonates with a spiritual essence, often crafted long before you were born. Think about it. When someone calls your name, they aren't just using an identifier. They're calling on a part of your purpose, a purpose that was designed specifically for you. This isn't just philosophy. It's something deeply rooted in spiritual principles, especially in the Bible. Names aren't just labels. They're a map to who you're meant to become. Many people go through life unaware of the spiritual significance behind their name. Yet, when you realize that your name could actually reveal parts of your destiny, it's like opening a door to a new understanding of yourself. Imagine if you could connect with the original intention behind your name. Just like in biblical times, where each name was given with purpose, perhaps your name holds clues to the journey you're meant to walk. It's as though your name is a quiet whisper from the divine, pointing you towards something more. Consider this. In the Bible, a name could reflect one's mission, character, or even fate. Each time you hear your own name, it's as if you're reminded, even subconsciously, of this divine calling. For instance, names like Moses, meaning drawn out, align with the purpose God had for him, to draw his people out of Egypt. If your name has meaning or symbolism, could it be a piece of a grander spiritual puzzle? It's worth pondering, isn't it? When you dig deeper into the meaning behind your name, you might find a spiritual resonance that's both inspiring and revealing. This isn't about superstition. It's about understanding that the Bible and other ancient texts have always treated names with utmost care and reverence. And that respect for names isn't lost on God. He knows you by name, and that knowledge is tied to the unique path He set for you. Isn't it incredible to think that something as simple as your name could be packed with that much meaning? Now, if you're curious about how to explore your name's significance, start by researching its origin and meaning. There are resources online or even specific spiritual books that dive into name meanings. You may be surprised to discover a connection between your name's meaning and your personality or life journey. If your name means peace, could it be that you're naturally drawn to conflict resolution or harmony? Or, if it means strength, perhaps you've faced challenges that required resilience. These insights could give you new perspective on your life's path. Another approach to understand the spiritual weight of your name is by reflecting on how you feel when others say it. Do you feel encouraged, grounded, or maybe even challenged? People's reactions to your name can often reveal aspects of the spiritual power it holds. This might seem small, but it can be transformative when you recognize how your name affects others and yourself. It's a quiet, yet profound reminder of your purpose each time someone calls out your name. A name, at its core, is personal and sacred. The Bible emphasizes that names were often given with prophetic insight, and the same might hold true for you. Imagine if every time someone says your name, it's like they're invoking a small piece of that original divine purpose. In this way, each day becomes an opportunity to live up to that purpose, to lean into the meaning that was woven into your life from the start. Don't you feel a sense of wonder, knowing your name could hold that much power? And if this sounds too abstract, try this simple exercise. Write down your name and meditate on it. Let the meaning and history resonate with you. You may find that certain traits or experiences in your life connect back to what your name represents. By honoring the significance of your name, you might start to see life in a new light, more aligned with what you're here to accomplish. But that's just scratching the surface. In the next part, we'll explore how names in the Bible align with life missions, giving a clearer picture of what this might mean for you. So far, which part has made you think the most about the meaning of your name? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear how you're connecting with this. Throughout the Bible, names are more than just words. They're woven into the destinies of the people who bear them. Take Abraham, for example. His name means father of many, and true to form, he became the father of nations, as God had promised. Or consider Daniel, whose name translates to God is my judge. He lived his life with an unwavering faith, standing firm even in the lion's den. Names like these weren't just labels. They were markers, pointing each person toward their divine purpose. It's fascinating to think your own name might hold a similar clue about the path God intended for you. In biblical stories, names seem to act as signposts, guiding characters toward their life missions. Look at Mary, whose name can mean bitter or beloved. She bore immense suffering, yet she was cherished, chosen to bring the Savior into the world. Each of these biblical figures lived in alignment with the meaning of their name, whether consciously or not. So, when you think about your own name, ask yourself, could it hold some hidden insight about who you're meant to be? Sometimes, the answer is closer than you think. For those interested in finding their purpose, examining the meaning of their name can be a surprisingly enlightening first step. It's as if our names can gently nudge us toward what we're supposed to do in this world. If you haven't yet explored what your name might signify, try looking it up. There are countless resources, both online and in books, that dive into the historical and spiritual significance of names. For instance, if your name means joy, you might be someone who naturally brings happiness to others. Or if it means wisdom, maybe you have an innate desire to seek and share knowledge. Names in the Bible weren't randomly chosen. They were often a reflection of God's intentions for a person's life. Remember Joseph, whose name can mean God will add or increase. His journey was full of trials, but he ultimately rose to a position of great influence, providing for his family and people during a famine. The name he bore reflected the role he would play. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes our names are the first clue we have about our calling. This isn't a coincidence. It's part of a grand design. Consider your name as an invitation to explore what it could mean for your life mission. Even if you aren't sure what your purpose is yet, reflecting on your name might spark some ideas. If your name has a meaning related to leadership, like protector or noble, it could suggest a life path involving responsibility and guidance. Or, if your name means something more introspective, like truth or faith, perhaps you're meant to inspire others through honesty or belief. These insights can provide a foundation for understanding your unique path. Don't underestimate the power of your name to reveal God's plan for you. Think of each time someone calls your name as a reminder of that purpose. In the Bible, this notion is strong. Names serve as reminders of divine missions, whether it's a new identity like Israel for Jacob or Peter for Simon. Your own name, in its meaning and history, may also reflect a path of significance that only you can fulfill. Could it be that this path is waiting for you to discover it fully? This idea might seem mysterious at first, but the truth is, people throughout history have looked to names as indicators of purpose. If you feel drawn to a certain type of work or feel a sense of duty in a particular area of life, consider how your name aligns with these passions. Is there a connection? You'd be surprised how often the names we're given reflect the work we're called to do. Your name could be your guide, a subtle yet powerful compass. As you start thinking more about your name's meaning, allow yourself to dream. What if your name, in its origin and essence, hints at your potential? By delving into the purpose reflected in your name, you open yourself up to a journey that's not only personal, but deeply spiritual. And just as the Bible shows, every name has a story, a purpose behind it. Next, we'll dive even deeper into how biblical names reflect divine missions and what that might mean for you. In the Bible, names don't just hold personal meaning. They often signify a divine mission. God sometimes chose or even changed names to fit the role he had in mind for someone. A well-known example is Simon, whom Jesus renamed Peter, meaning rock. This new name wasn't just a title. It was a prophecy of Peter's future role as the foundation of the church. In the same way, it's possible that your name has been given, or maybe even guided, to align with a purpose you're meant to fulfill. Isn't it incredible to think that something as simple as a name could hold such power? Biblical name changes are fascinating because they reflect a shift in identity and purpose. Abram became Abraham, meaning father of many nations, and Sarai became Sarah, reflecting her role as the mother of nations. These changes weren't just superficial. They marked a transformation in their journey with God. Similarly, when you embrace the meaning of your name, you might uncover a deeper layer of purpose that's been with you all along. It's like uncovering a hidden message within yourself, waiting to be fulfilled. Imagine if every time you said or heard your name, you were reminded of a divine mission. Names like Isaac, meaning laughter, carry not only a personal story, but also a divine promise. Isaac was a fulfillment of God's promise to Abraham and Sarah, bringing joy and laughter into their lives. Perhaps your name, too, could serve as a daily reminder of God's intentions, whether it's through its meaning or the story behind it. Your name might be a small piece of a bigger plan. For some people, understanding the divine mission behind their name can be a game changer. Take Mary Magdalene, for example. Her name connects to a place as Magdala, but she became known for her unwavering loyalty and faith. This name, associated with strength and resilience, became symbolic of her dedication to Christ's mission. When you think about your own name, ask yourself if it reveals aspects of your character or calling that align with God's design. There might be more to it than you realize. Even today, people are often named with intention. Some parents choose names that carry values or traits they hope their children will embody, whether it's wisdom, peace, or strength. If your name was chosen with this in mind, it could be a guiding light in your life. Knowing the intention behind your name might encourage you to live up to the values it represents. It's a subtle reminder that your life isn't random. It's shaped by a divine hand that set you on a unique path. Sometimes, the journey to understanding our purpose starts with understanding our identity. In the Bible, God changed names as people grew into new roles, like Jacob becoming Israel, the father of a nation. Maybe there's a part of your journey that involves growing into your name's meaning. Whether you've fully embraced it yet or not, each step you take brings you closer to fulfilling a purpose that's been embedded in your identity from the beginning. Reflecting on the meaning of your name can be a powerful experience. If you're curious, consider journaling about what your name represents and how it might connect to your life's mission. What traits or roles does it seem to imply? Are there areas in your life where this meaning is particularly evident? Through these reflections, you might gain clarity on where God is leading you. After all, in biblical times, a name wasn't just a word, it was a declaration of one's destiny. But names are just the beginning. The Bible takes this concept even further by connecting names with specific roles, missions, and transformations. In the next part, we'll explore the power in names like Jesus and how their meanings are a direct reflection of God's intentions, offering insights that can inspire you to consider the spiritual significance of your own name. Names in the Bible carry immense power. They aren't just chosen for beauty or popularity. They're deliberate, reflecting God's purpose and plan. Take the name Jesus, which means Savior. This name wasn't just a title. It was a declaration of who he would be and the mission he would accomplish. Jesus wasn't simply called to bear this name. He was destined to embody it. It makes you wonder, what might the meaning of your own name say about your role in the world? Perhaps, like Jesus, there's a purpose embedded in your name waiting to be realized. In biblical times, names were often linked directly to the role a person would play in God's plan. Moses means drawn out, a fitting description for the one who would draw his people out of bondage in Egypt. These weren't just random choices. They held power, encapsulating the essence of a person's calling. If you look at your own name with this perspective, you might discover that it, too, carries a hidden strength or purpose that has always been a part of you. Sometimes, simply understanding the meaning of your name can open doors to personal transformation. Many people find that their lives shift when they align with the meaning behind their name. If your name means hope, for example, you might feel a deep pull to uplift others, even in small ways. Or, if it means bringer of peace, you could naturally find yourself mediating conflicts or spreading calm. This isn't a coincidence. The Bible shows us that names often serve as a blueprint, outlining traits and purposes crafted by a higher power. Embracing your name's meaning could be the key to understanding your personal calling. Names like Joshua, which means the Lord is salvation, are reminders of God's promises. Joshua was tasked with leading Israel into the Promised Land, living out the essence of his name through his mission. Reflecting on the meaning of your own name could reveal how you're meant to bring God's love or wisdom to others, whether it's through your work, family, or community. Your name might carry a piece of God's plan for you. Isn't it incredible to think that something as simple as a name could hold that much divine significance? Imagine if every time someone called your name, it served as a reminder of your purpose. Just as David, whose name means beloved, was known as a man after God's own heart, your name could reinforce a spiritual message or trait you're meant to embody. If your name has a biblical meaning, look into the stories associated with it. You might find that your name mirrors aspects of your character or spiritual path, giving you a deeper connection to your faith and purpose. The power in a name is more than symbolic. It's almost prophetic. The Bible shows countless examples where names foreshadow or reinforce the direction of a person's life. When you consider that God knows each of us by name, it becomes clear that our names carry a unique weight. You don't have to be a Moses or a Mary for your name to matter in God's eyes. The meaning of your name could be a small yet profound way that God has set you apart, with a purpose only you can fulfill. To truly harness the power of your name, try meditating on its meaning. Think about how it aligns with your strengths, goals, or even challenges. For example, if your name means faithful, look at the ways you naturally embody loyalty or trustworthiness. This small practice could help you recognize how God's intentions are woven into your identity. And as the Bible suggests, understanding your name could be the first step in living out the purpose it represents. The significance of names in the Bible is undeniable. They are markers of divine intention, reminders of purpose, and sources of inspiration. Next, we'll dive into how reflecting on your name can reveal aspects of your character or calling, encouraging you to explore this further and connect with the deeper meaning behind your name. Taking a moment to reflect on your name can reveal insights you may not have considered before. It's more than just a label. It's part of your identity, perhaps carrying a purpose you're meant to uncover. Ask yourself, does the meaning of your name align with who you are? Sometimes, in quiet reflection, you might see connections between your name's meaning and the values you naturally hold. This isn't just an abstract exercise. It's a way to connect with a part of yourself that may hold clues to your unique calling. Think about the traits associated with your name's meaning and whether they resonate with you. If your name means brave, do you feel that courage is part of who you are, or even who you're meant to become? These reflections can be powerful, not because they define you, but because they can inspire you to explore the depths of your identity. Just as biblical names were given with intention, considering the intention behind your name might lead to new insights about yourself. For some, reflecting on their name's significance can feel like uncovering a hidden treasure. You might find that the traits associated with your name are already evident in your life, even if you hadn't noticed before. If your name implies wisdom, perhaps you've been drawn to seeking knowledge or guiding others. This process isn't about changing who you are. It's about honoring the potential already within you. Embracing the meaning of your name can give you a renewed sense of purpose and direction. Reflection doesn't have to be complicated. Simply set aside a few minutes to meditate on your name, letting its meaning and any associated stories resonate with you. You might jot down any words or traits that come to mind. This practice isn't just for understanding, it's for growth. By exploring the meaning behind your name, you're giving yourself permission to explore the depths of your character and calling. It's a journey, and sometimes that first step is simply seeing yourself in a new light. Consider, too, how others react to your name. Do they seem to connect with you in ways that align with its meaning? If your name signifies peace, do people often come to you for comfort or support? Sometimes, others see parts of our identity more clearly than we do. Observing these interactions can provide valuable insights into how your name's meaning plays out in your relationships and impact. This awareness can be both affirming and enlightening, guiding you to live more intentionally. As you dive into this reflection, remember that your name is not just a word. It's a reflection of your identity that can evolve as you grow. Just as biblical figures grew into their names over time, you too might find new layers of meaning as you journey through life. Embracing this can help you stay open to the ways in which God's purpose for you unfolds, layer by layer. Each phase of life might bring new dimensions to the way your name shapes you. Personal reflection on your name is about recognizing both the familiar and the potential. If your name means light, consider how you bring light to others or how you might wish to in the future. This reflection can serve as a gentle guide, reminding you of what you're meant to cultivate in yourself and in others. These insights can deepen your sense of purpose, grounding you in a more profound understanding of who you are meant to be. And this is just the beginning. In the Bible, names were often changed as people stepped into new roles or destinies. Next, we'll explore the transformative power of name changes, showing how a shift in name can signify a new spiritual journey or even a change in destiny. In the Bible, a name change often marks a powerful transformation. It's more than just a new title. It signals a new journey, a new purpose, or a deepened relationship with God. Take Abram, whose name was changed to Abraham, meaning father of many nations. This shift wasn't merely symbolic. It represented a shift in his destiny, from a man with no children to the father of generations. The Bible teaches that sometimes a new name can open the door to a new identity, one aligned with a higher calling. Isn't it amazing to think that a single word could hold that much power? Consider the story of Saul, who became Paul. His name change marked a radical shift from a persecutor of Christians to one of the faith's greatest apostles. This wasn't just a name change. It was a declaration of his transformation. He embraced a new identity, one that was in direct opposition to his past. When we look at these biblical examples, we see how God uses names to signal a fresh start, a new chapter. Could there be times in your life when you too are invited to embrace a new identity or mission? Sometimes, our journey with God leads us to moments of reinvention. A new name or title can be a way to step into that change fully. Even if you don't undergo a literal name change, the concept remains powerful. When you accept a new role or a new understanding of yourself, it's like putting on a new spiritual identity. Think of it as God's way of nudging you into a phase of life where you are better aligned with His vision for you. Each new role we take on might be an invitation to a transformed purpose. For people in today's world, this concept can apply in many ways. Perhaps you've gone through an experience that has deeply changed you: parenthood, a career shift, a personal loss, or a spiritual awakening. These moments often feel like name changes in a symbolic sense, inviting you to step into a new chapter of your life. Reflect on any transformations you've experienced and consider how they have shaped who you are today. You may not need a new name to recognize that you're no longer the person you once were. When we see name changes in the Bible, it's often a message that God has a new role in mind. Jacob dies after wrestling with God, was renamed Israel, meaning one who struggles with God. This new name signified his role as the father of the 12 tribes, forever connected to God's covenant. A similar journey may happen within you, where your experiences and faith lead you to embrace a deeper or even different sense of self. In some ways, each season of life invites us to live out a new name. For some, taking on a new name might feel right, especially after a major life change. It could be as simple as adopting a nickname that aligns with your new identity, or reframing the way you see your name's meaning. Even a small shift in perspective can act as a personal rededication to your purpose. If you feel called to do this, consider it a celebration of who you've become and where you're headed. It's a way to honor the journey that has brought you here. If this resonates with you, try an exercise in which you explore what a new name might signify for you. Write down the qualities or roles you feel called to embody at this stage in your life. This doesn't mean changing your actual name, but perhaps taking on a spiritual identity that aligns with your growth. This symbolic act can be both empowering and grounding, allowing you to step confidently into the next chapter of your life. Name changes in the Bible are about embracing new roles and destinies. As you reflect on the meaning of your name and the experiences that have shaped you, consider how God might be calling you to step into a new identity. Your name is just one part of your journey, and who knows, perhaps this journey has only just begun. So, now that you've explored the profound meaning behind names in the Bible and how they relate to purpose, what will you do with this insight? Does your name reveal a trait you want to cultivate, or a mission you feel called to pursue? Reflecting on the biblical significance of your name could be the beginning of a deeper connection to your spiritual identity. Maybe it's time to see your name not just as something you're called by, but as a compass, pointing you toward your unique role in God's plan. Think about it. Could understanding your name's meaning inspire a new chapter in your life? Is there a deeper calling you've sensed but haven't fully embraced? I encourage you to start this journey. Reflect on your name, pray about its significance, and see where it leads you. Who knows? You might discover a new sense of purpose, or even be inspired to take steps towards something meaningful and transformative. And if you're eager for more insights like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Let's continue uncovering the spiritual wisdom that helps us live purposefully.